You know when someone wants to ask you a question, but they don't want to go down the route of asking you a direct question. For example, say you post up a picture on Instagram of you and a girl, probably say on your story, and you get DMs like, congratulations, or your girlfriend is pretty. At that point, they skip the step of you telling them that this is your girlfriend and then them congratulating you. So it's so funny. I actually live for those kind of moments because I find them hilarious. Anyways, this is your host Kyo and you're listening to Lucid Thoughts, and I'll be right back. On a sunny summer afternoon, I was with 5 of my friends in a small lecture hall with our physics lecturer and blackboard and our books, and we were given questions to answer, and to our surprise we failed woefully. We failed all the questions. Actually, we failed really bad, as in it was so bad. Our lecturer went to the board and he wrote ASSUME, assume. But you see, he asked us to pronounce the word on the board, and because we thought it was a trick question, so we did not want to really go out there and pronounce the word, and he said as you me. That was his own pronunciation, and they were like, okay, yes, where is he going to? And he said assumption is making an ass out of you and me, because he said we assumed that the question that we're given to answer, that we had the knowledge to answer the question. So what did we do? We went ahead and answered the question, and he said we could have simply asked him how we were to go about answering the question, but then we did not, and we assumed that we need the answer, and we failed woefully. We failed brilliantly. Yeah. So, like, in a nutshell, I just want to ask this question: what do you understand by assumption? What is an assumption? What is an assumption? Like, when you hear the word assumption, what do you think about? Like, what do you actually think about? So for me, assumption is filling in the blanks when you have a little information. Like we in the classroom, we had small information as into the question. We had the question as in front of us, so at least there was an information at our hand, but we did not really know how to solve this problem before us. So what did we do? We put everything together that we could do. Everything we could think about, all the theories and all that, and we came up with the wrong solution. And in our minds, we were the smartest people ever, because why? We assumed that what we put together was correct. Now, assumptions are very, very bad because we do not know where it's going to end, or we don't know how far we can go to get our desired solution. Now, it can be good in some ways. Like, you can say assumptions can be good in a way, because like I just want to shed like a little light on assumption. For example, say your friends are coming home and you assume that they are hungry. Now, what do? You either cook food for them or you buy food. If you're a good friend, actually, because some people wouldn't even care about what you're going to eat and all that. So you cook for them, and worst case scenario, they come to your house, like they don't get to eat what you cook, or possibly take it home. Now that's fine. That's completely fine, because at that point the cost is very minimal. It's very minimal because like you don't know what would have happened if the food was not cooked or something, like that's fine because the cost is minimal. But you see, there are many bad things about assumptions that I think we should not even have, and how we can avoid assumptions. Now, the first thing I know about assumption is that it's an easy way out, because you're not really bothered to find out the real reason why things happen. So the easiest thing you can do is just piece 1 and 2 together, and then all of a sudden you come up with a solution, and in your mind, like, that's it, you've solved this big problem by assuming. Now that's very bad, because like it's it's the easiest thing to do because there's low resistance. You don't really have to go out to start asking questions and trying to find solutions to answers. You just sit down where you are, you have a little information, you know what happened in A, then you bring it down to B, and all of a sudden you have an answer. So that's one thing that's one way I know assumptions can be really, really bad, because why? It gives you an easy way out. Now, an easy way out wouldn't necessarily mean that you're doing something wrong, but like I said the first time, the cost can be very, very detrimental. And also, assumptions can keep you in the past, because imagine you having to assume something that happened and without finding the right information. You just be stuck in the past and rely on old information, so fill in blanks again and connect dots, and you understand. Instead of expanding your horizons, you retreat into the past and you live there, and because at this point in time you've become so accustomed to what you believed in all this while, like you're just safe there, and it puts you in a place of pain as well, because when you're living in the past based on an assumption, you're just there and you don't want to let go of the pain, or you're even thinking that what if now you find out the truth, how would it change your life, how would it affect your life? Would it be that you've been living in pain all this while and you've not been able to find out the truth, therefore making yourself look stupid and all that. So that's also something that assumptions can give as well. Now, assumption is a toxic behavior. It's very toxic because if you're used to jumping into assumptions, create conclusions. So if you're used to assuming things, it can be very toxic sometimes, because you hear a little piece of information and all of a sudden you twist it in a way because you're trying to fill in the dots, because you're very lazy to get the right facts. Now you twist this information to the point that you start spreading false like lies to people, and start harboring hatred in your heart for something that you should not even let to dwell in your heart for a day. But obviously you're so quick to jumping into conclusions that you're just creating your own assumptions for yourself, and it can get so bad to the point that it can affect your relationship with people. If you're used to jumping into conclusions based on your assumptions, people start finding out okay, listen, I can't take your word for what it is, because in the past you've said so many things to me about people that were not right, and now I'm actually questioning your credibility and your source of information as well. So it can be very, very, very bad and detrimental to our relationships, and sometimes it can even be life-threatening. It can be life-threatening because imagine you assuming something that leads to the loss of life. That won't be good. That won't be good. And there's another thing I'm going to say, assumptions I can say are 90% wrong, or let's put it at 100%, because for the mere fact that you don't know the full details of an information, even if you might be right by assuming, and you find out later on that you're right, I can say because you don't have 100% clear-cut evidence to back up your assumptions, you are not meant to make it a fact or to say to someone else. So at that point in time, drop it. Now, how can we help ourselves with assumptions? I just want to be concise and also being aware of time as well. We can try to find right information, to research, or possibly go out there to ask people about what happened, or say you're doing a research for something, as opposed to just being lazy and making up your own conclusion. You have to ask and find a way to get the right source of information. Otherwise, do not even get as close to making a conclusion from an assumption, because like I said earlier on, it can be very, very detrimental. And also, you don't want to lose relationships based on the assumptions you've made in the past. It's key to know that the relationships you have that are killed by assumptions can be corrected by you just having the right information. So that's me. That's been on the final note. I'd say be happy, get rid of assumptions, because I don't think assumptions can make you happy. well, if you're deceiving yourself, then well, that's one way you can use assumptions to be happy. But I don't think it helps anyone, to be happy you have to get rid of assumptions. Although, sometimes the truth might bring pain and, like harsh realities, but I think it's best to live with the truth than to live a lie or to fill in the blanks with assumptions, as opposed to getting the right information, asking questions and not just jumping into conclusions every time. Yes. So this is Kyo, and you've been listening to Lucid Thoughts, and I am signing out. Bye.